Hello, you guys. How are you all? Thank you guys for being here. Okay, so let me know if there's an issue with the audio because I'm outside. One of the reasons I was late, I could not find my glasses, but my contacts were killing me. But I'm outside, and as soon as the intro starts, my headphones die. And I've only been using them for a few minutes since I charged them. So hopefully there's not like a weird echo or something because I don't know. Hey, Carrie. Hey, Tess. Hey, MK. Hey, Pointer Lover. Hey, James. Brandy. Kelly. Good to see you guys. Thank you for being here. Hey, Nicole B. James and let me go. Elle and Andy as well. Thank you guys for being here. Hey, Kimberly. Let's see. Sound is good. Awesome. Okay, great. Okay, so I'm gonna warn you guys, and I know it. Sometimes I feel like with a trigger warning with true crime, it's just kind of silly. Let me turn this off. My glasses are they look crooked, and I see the glare. It's distracting me, but sometimes I feel like a trigger warning with true crime. It's kind of silly. It's like, duh, of course it's going to be triggering. Thank you, Kelly. Hey, Butterfly Kisses. Hey, Seven. But this specifically is a triggering topic. I'm going to warn you guys, it involves racism. It involves horrific hate crimes. We're going to touch on that at some points during our discussion. It involves self-harm. So just want you guys to know that. Also, this is going to be a series. Like, I want to talk about this in depth. I want to talk about there's several cases in depth. Today is just going to be like an introduction of this series and telling you the cases, the recent ones and some not so recent ones. I know that Joneson was still live on Deets, but I really couldn't push it back anymore. So, just thank you guys for being here. Who is here? I appreciate it so much. So these two break my heart, Pointer Lover says, and that's what we're going to talk about. So, let me just pull up an article and we'll start there. And there's actually some new information I hadn't seen. I just grabbed right before this started. So there have been 2 hanging deaths in Mississippi that have somewhat went under the radar because of all the other things in the news. And one of them specifically, I'm very curious about the evidence, both of them, but specifically this one from Delta State University. Some people might know about this, some don't, because of everything going on in the news right now with Charlie Kirk and all of that stuff. Like I said, it's went under the radar. This is something that it's important to me. This whole series is going to be very near and dear to my heart. It connects to an old video I did a long time ago at the request of a family member about a young man from North Carolina, and we're going to talk about him tonight too. So let's just start here. Let me give you a little bit of the rundown of the first little bit of information, and then we're going to kind of go through it. We're going to have a discussion in the next couple days with some guests. And if anybody's interested in joining that conversation, please let me know. So, what we know about the hanging deaths of 2 men in Mississippi. On Monday, 2 hanging deaths were reported in Mississippi, one in Vicksburg and another on the campus of Delta State University. Oh my gosh, I just dropped my water on my notes here. My notes didn't have much except for Demar Travion, which they call him Trey. We're going to call him Trey, is the one that was found at Delta State. He's only 21 years old. He was found at 7 a.m. on Monday. There's a lot of rumors, a lot of online speculation. Then we have Corey Zucata. So Trey is African American and Corey is a white male. The first reports I had seen, I thought they were both African American, but that is not the case. So then we're going to touch on Lennon Lacy and Sean Daugherty and maybe and a couple others, a historical case, hate crime, and go through this. It's unfortunate because even when, this kind of reminded me of Kendrick Johnson. And because Wait, where the hell is my StreamYard? Whoa, there it is. Sorry. Kendrick Johnson, his death looks suspicious. The FBI investigated and they stood by it. With Lennon Lacy, they have stood by their determination. I don't understand how they got there, especially since the young man was wearing shoes that were 2 sizes too small or too big. He was. I'm gonna go through that in a minute. So let me just not, so I don't give false information. I don't understand. I don't have a lot of hope just because the FBI is investigating that it's gonna be that anything, that the truth will come out. I just don't. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm conspiracy minded. If that's too much for you, I do understand, but that's just where I'm at. I ain't heard about this. I've been keeping out of the news lately. Hey, peanut butter conspiracy. I don't believe he was an accident either, Pointer Lover. I'll never believe that. We were looking at the picture. Whoa. Dude, what happened? My internet has been really good lately, and now something ain't right, but so, okay. I don't know why my StreamYard went to another window, and it's kind of threw me off. I'm sorry. All right, so let's get back to the article. So at 7 a.m., Trey, 21, a black student at Delta State, was found hanging from a tree on the university's campus. This is the first red flag for me. Again, maybe I'm crazy, but why would you go to the middle of your college campus? I don't know about that. So this is Trey here. He's on the thumbnail. We're going to cover out. I want to look into every aspect of this. This breaks my heart. If it wasn't self-harm, if it was, it's still heartbreaking. If it wasn't, it infuriates me. It lights a fire inside of me that just wants the whole world to know. It's not right. So, okay. Coroner's preliminary findings, and I'm going to show you why this is so, why it stands out so much in a moment. We're going to go back in history for a second, but let's get through the basic details. So in an official statement, the coroner's office said that Reed was not suffering from any lacerations, contusions, compound fractures, broken bones, or injuries consistent with assault. Now that is important because there's a lot of rumors going around that he had all these broken bones. According to the coroner, that is not true. He said the incident took place sometime on Sunday. He also stated that at this time, there's no evidence to suggest Reed had been physically attacked before his death. Randolph is not saying if it was a homicide or a suicide, just that it is an ongoing death investigation. His remains have been sent to Mississippi State Crime Lab for an autopsy, and they say they'll provide more info when the results come in. Can't watch the chat while I'm doing this, so I'll be back in a second. Congressman calls on FBI. So a Mississippi Congressman, Benny Thompson, said Tuesday that he wants a federal investigation. Here's a quote. The FBI has the tools and the experience necessary to conduct a thorough and unbiased inquiry, and time is of the essence. He also said that Mississippi history of racial violence against African Americans cannot be ignored. And I 100% agree. That's what makes this really very concerning. For one, why in the middle of campus like that? That doesn't really make sense to me, but because of the history. So Ben Crump was retained. Now, Ben Crump is a well-known attorney who does a lot of civil rights litigation and stuff. He said, Trey was a young man full of promise and warmth, deeply loved and respected by all who knew him. His family and the campus community deserve a full, independent investigation to uncover the truth about what happened. We cannot accept vague conclusions when so many questions remain. And I agree, 100% agree. Delta State responded. They posted a video to Facebook on Tuesday featuring a statement from the president. In the video, he says that the campus is still grieving the loss of Reed while reassuring the student body that the campus is safe. We're not going to watch that. He said they are in contact with Reed's family and asked for continued prayers, support, and patience. He said, "We are cooperating. We'll continue to cooperate with investigators. We continue to make sure that all the information necessary is given to authorities and continue to hope for answers." He said the university is aware of the coroner's report, as well as other developments in the investigation, and, quote, "as is the family." He said the university can only release information that's appropriate, which that's understandable. Mississippi Legislative Black Caucus put out a statement. They said they're deeply concerned. They said, "We are closely watching developments to determine what further action, if any, may be necessary to ensure transparency and accountability." Now, let's talk about the second man that was found. So, Corey Zucadis, he was a white male and a Brandon resident, was found hanging in a wooded area near the Ameristar Casino. According to the county coroner, he was living in the wooded area where he was found. The coroner said Zucadis was on drugs and homeless at the time, and his mother has confirmed this with the coroner's office. His body has also been taken to the state crime lab. Now, he needs no security cameras? Dude, there has to be, Kimberly. Come on, a college campus? Please. I was tardy myself, so it's okay. I couldn't find my glasses. I cannot. There's never enough time in the day. Yeah, homework done, lunchboxes ready, clothes ready, showers done. You know what I mean, all that kind of stuff. So, no worries. Being late is okay. I'm just glad you're here. And I truly appreciate you guys being here because this is important. And it's always the cases that need the most attention, I swear, that don't get it. To me, that's how I feel with social media and stuff. It's I don't know, just a lot of missing cases and murder victims that really could use the attention, and they just don't get it. So, okay. Now, let's go over to NBC. Body from a black student is found hanging from a tree in Mississippi. Let's take a pause here, actually. We're going to go to Wikipedia. I just want to show you this. This was mentioned to me by one of you guys, a friend of mine who knew I was doing this, and I wanted to just show you guys. So this is Emmett Till. He was an African-American man or young man, 14 years old. He was abducted and lynched in Mississippi in 1955 after being accused of offending a white woman, Carolyn Bryant, in her family's grocery store. The brutality of his murder and the acquittal of his killers drew attention to the long history of violent persecution of African Americans in the United States. Till after death became an icon of the civil rights movement. 14 years old. His body was returned, listen to this, his body was returned to Chicago, where his mother insisted on a public funeral service with an open casket. It was later said that, quote, "the open coffin funeral held by Mamie Bradley exposed the world to more than her son Emmett Till's bloated, mutilated body. Her decision focused attention not only on American racism and the barbarism of lynching, but also the limitations and vulnerabilities of American democracy. Tens of thousands attended his funeral or viewed his open casket, and images of his mutilated body were published in black-oriented magazines and newspapers, rallying popular black support and white sympathy across the United States. Intense scrutiny was brought to bear on the lack of black civil rights in Mississippi, with newspapers around the U.S. critical of the state. Although local newspapers and law enforcement initially decried the violence against Till and called for justice, they responded to national criticism by defending Mississippians, giving support to the killers. In September of 1955, an all-white jury found Bryant and Milam not guilty of his murder. Protected against double jeopardy, the two men publicly admitted in a 1956 interview with Locke magazine that they had tortured and murdered Till, selling the story of how they did it for $4,000, which would be equivalent to around $45,000 today. His murder was seen as a catalyst for the next phase of the civil rights movement. So this goes deep. This history goes very deep in Mississippi and in our country. This is, I don't know, I'm ashamed when it makes you ashamed. A lot of times you see what we're capable of and we're proud, and this is just, ugh. And I'm going to tell you guys something just quickly before we continue. I come from southern West Virginia. I've told you guys before, this is like the mountains. There really wasn't a lot of different races there. Until I went to college, I really didn't experience that. Now, there was racism, though. There were rebel flags everywhere. People just hateful. Like they're hateful to the things they don't know, or I don't know. It's just, it's its whole own thing. Its whole level of toxicity going on there. But when I moved to North Carolina, I just hadn't really seen anything like this. I live in a very small town, and there are still houses with the slave quarters up in their backyard. The history is very rich here as well because of all the farming and stuff that happened here, and the Civil War was fought here, part of it. You can feel that almost at times, like the tension, and especially when you speak to the older generations. Our old neighbor, she was probably 85. You could just, there's a lot of, I don't want to say hate, but racism. There just is prejudice. People, I do think that, thank God that there are opportunities available to more people these days. But you can't tell me that racism doesn't exist to this day. It does. And in a place like Mississippi, can you imagine how it feels, like just a feeling in the air of that kind of hatred or that kind of evil having once lingered there? I don't know. It's a different kind of feeling. Wasn't used to that. I don't know. I don't even know how else to explain it, so I should probably stop and just go. But civil rights history always gives me a knot in my throat and a physical reaction throughout my body. Absolutely, Kelly. Me too, dude. For real. It's like I'm ashamed. I wasn't there. I wasn't part of it, but God almighty. What the fuck is wrong with people? So let's continue, though. NBC put this article out. Body of a black student is found hanging from a tree in Mississippi. When we get to the case that's older that I was asked to cover, I mean, it is, if you don't have an emotional reaction to this kind of hatred, to this kind of, like what we just read about Emmett Till, then I don't know. I think you got to do some self-reflecting, because I don't know. And that's why I want to talk about it, and I'm going to talk about it. I'm not going to stop. I don't give a fuck if there's only 15 people here. I'm going to talk about it as much as I want. It'll probably be a 10-part series, so buckle up. But all right. Body of a black student is found hanging from a tree in Mississippi, and police at the university say no evidence of foul play was found in the death of Trey Reed, but the investigation is ongoing. Let's pause this. Police were notified Monday morning about the body found near the pickleball courts. It's like if he were, I just can't think that if I was in the place, I've had some depressing times, especially through my addiction, and I wanted to be alone. I can't imagine going to your college campus like this. To me, this just feels like, I don't know, something ain't right, but let me continue. Could be totally wrong. Maybe I'm off base. Maybe I'm inappropriate. Maybe I shouldn't be inserting like conspiracies this early on. It doesn't feel right. So classes were canceled on Monday. This is a 2,700 student campus. Now, although there's no evidence of foul play, this has not stopped. Dude, what is going on with my thing? I'm sorry, you guys. I literally can't see it. Okay, sorry. The NAACP. This hasn't stopped people from, sorry, I'm getting thrown off because like my window just disappeared and the menu was up and I couldn't get back to it. So I apologize. But again, no evidence of foul play, no threat to the school, it said, but this hasn't prevented people from calling for justice on social media and circulating unsubstantiated allegations regarding his death. Well, I mean, I don't think people should spread rumors. I'm totally against that. We want the facts. But I can understand. You hear a young black man, he's in college. God only knows what he was going to do with his life. And you find out that you hear that he's found like this in the middle of campus. I don't know. So the NAACP on Tuesday expressed skepticism of the possibility Reed died by suicide. They said, you have to excuse our skepticism amidst growing racially motivated violence targeted at our communities across this nation. A man was lynched yesterday, the picture said on this post. So, while we await more formal autopsy reports and information, we offer this piece of history with a level of certainty. Our people have not historically hung ourselves from trees. Then they talk again about Ben Crump and him being hired, and he said, quote, Trey was a young man full of promise and warmth, deeply loved and respected by all who knew him. We cannot accept vague conclusions. We read this part when so many questions remain. I will lead a team of civil rights leaders and organizations in pursuing transparency and answers. And again, I told you guys about the rumors online that his body had been found with multiple injuries, and apparently that's not true. Oh my God, it just breaks my heart even looking at his face. Alex says a black woman, oh, make me cry. I'm emotional right now. Anyways, I'm sorry. As a black woman who grew up in the 60s, I so much appreciate you covering this story. Also, for not pretending that racism doesn't exist, it's running rampant. Well, I mean, look at the division that's being caused right now, anyways. You know? Okay, I wanted to fix something in the chat just really quick, and we're gonna keep going. Made me cry. I'm sorry. I'm emotional. I'm just like that sometimes. Okay. Nicole, I gave you a wrench. You're making me cry too, Tess said. I know Nicole is one of the people that's going to join for a discussion. Hey, Natasha. Hey, Julie. Very handsome young man. Seem to be on the road to good things, right? Going to college and stuff. So the coroner said on his Facebook page, based on the preliminary examination, we can confirm the deceased did not suffer lacerations, contusions, compound fractures, broken bones, or injuries consistent with an assault. At this time, there is no evidence to suggest the individual was physically attacked. Some of this is kind of repetitive from our first article. FBI said they were prepared to assist, but only if local authorities believe a federal crime may have been committed. So, now, And look, this article mentions Emmett Till as well. That's interesting. So we are going to come over here. I want to show you guys this case that I covered. We're going to come back to the new news and Trey's case, but I want to show you this other case, Lennon Lacy. This happened in North Carolina, and I'm seriously, as part of this little series, considering going there. And like I said, I don't really care if it only has 15 viewers. I really don't. That's not what it's about for me. So it would be nice for people to see it, right? I was thinking about that today. Like, you know how people, I don't know, Kimberly, you know how people will censor themselves and they won't say like rape or murder or whatever, and they'll say grape or unalived, things like that. It frustrates me because it feels like it's done because you want to be monetized, right? And you don't want to say the that. It's cutting out, and I apologize. I don't know why, but let me know if you guys could hear me straight through or if I cut out. Part of me thought about this today, though, and I thought maybe, it is a good idea to do that when you want it to reach a bigger audience, right? Because when YouTube demonetizes your video, they don't spread it as much. But I'm right there with you, Nicole. It drives me insane. The words are important, right? It's important. You take away like the severity, how serious it is. It makes it seem silly. What do you mean she got raped? What do you mean unalive? What do you mean? No, I don't like it. Especially in true crime, we should respect the victims by saying what happened to them. If you are, especially if you're doing this because you're monetized and you don't want to lose the money, I'm sorry. You have no right to earn money off of talking about these things if you can't do it with respect, with honesty, and with the seriousness that it deserves. I do believe that. Takes away the brutality of it. It does, Natasha. Now, buckle up because this one here is very hard to hear. I'm going to show you. I cannot believe this because I had forgotten about this. So his cousin had reached out to me. I made a video on TikTok, and I actually was only able to find the repost. I posted it twice. And I was looking today, and it just freaking happens that his brother, they say their brother, family member, had commented on my repost in August, at the end of August. We had another suspected lynching about 20 miles from me in North Carolina. Julie, will you please send me an email? You just send it. The email address is send it to Alex Erickson at gmail.com, or I'm on Facebook at Allie Erickson. I'm on Discord. I think it's just Allie 824 maybe. Just if you can't email or whatever, let me know and I'll help you find a way to contact me. I would love to see that because I want to dig through all of these cases. I want to talk about it, and I want to see them all. I think we should see them all. Hey, Punksy. Thank you, Julie. And thank you, Lady fucking T. That's what I love about you, Alex. You call a spade a fucking spade. I love the way you spell your PH word, not the F word. Okay. So, oh, Andy, thank you. I love your picture. I never seen it big like that. It's cute. Okay. I'm just like, I know that it can be frustrating. I'm just real. This isn't like, maybe I'll make a put together video for people that don't want to sit through and have just discussion like that. But if you're new here, welcome to my channel. Sometimes I'm a little bit emotional, a little bit crazy, a little bit all over the place. But yeah, I do try to tell it how I see it. And I just want to talk about, things that I find important. over here. And I have a second channel where maybe I'll talk about other things or TikTok. So check it out if you haven't. It's Real Talk with Alex. Punksy, thank you for rejoining Somewhere Between Heaven and Hell. Thank you, Punksy. Oh, James, I've gotten a ton of comments the last couple of days of people that are mad at me for deleting their comments. And I have not deleted any of them. Okay. FBI to join investigation of black teen's hanging death. So this is about Lennon Lacy. Again, I'm going to show you what the cousin or the brother said. We're going to walk through some of this. Now, the FBI, much like Kendrick Johnson, has said they've investigated and, this is not foul. There's no foul play. It doesn't, usually that would mean something to me, but it just doesn't in this case. But okay. And you'll see why. Early on August 29th, in the small town of Bladenboro, North Carolina, 17-year-old high school football player Lennon Lacy was found hanging from a child swing set. The state's chief medical examiner ruled the black teen's death a suicide. Now, let me pause here. This swing set was not even tall enough his feet would have touched the ground if he stood up from where he was hanging. Okay? That's important to know. That don't make any fucking sense. But, all right. But since then, his family and community outrage have challenged that conclusion, noting details such as the shoes he was wearing did not fit his feet. Nor did he own a belt from which he was hanging. His shoes were missing and there was a different fucking pair of shoes 2 sizes off. Okay? 2 sizes off. But yeah, suicide. Anyway. And there's more. He had laid out his clothes for a football game. And I'll play my old video, even though it's embarrassing, but I think that it's important. There's details in it I want to show. So, nor did he own the belt. NAACP officials have asked whether the death was ruled a possible race-based homicide overlooked by a rushed investigation. Now the FBI will take a look. Lacy's family says their knowledge of the teen doesn't support a suicide. And while not outright alleging that he was murdered, they say inconsistencies in his death merit further review. I know my child, his mother said. As a mother, I would have sensed if something was wrong to the point he was going to harm himself. Those inconsistencies were laid out last November in a report by a private pathologist hired by the North Carolina chapter of the NAACP. The West Bladenboro High School linebacker, whose body was discovered in a mobile home park at 7:25 a.m., was looking forward to a football game that day after improving his grades and being rewarded the opportunity to play. According to the pathologist, he had his clothes laid out for the game. Like, is that normal that I don't know. Will people, like, prepare for their day before they're... I don't know. Again, this is a triggering topic for people, and I understand that. And please just don't be here if you I don't expect that at all from anybody. If you can't handle it, I understand, and that's okay. We'll see you the next one. Lacy's great uncle recently had died, and he was asking questions about death that he had not discussed before. But there is no prior report of suicide attempts or long-term history of depression. He was at home the prior evening with his parents when he told his mom he was going for a walk at about 10:30 p.m., which was a normal habit for him. At some point that night, he argued with his girlfriend and went to the mobile home park. A woman who called 911 about 7:25 a.m. the next day reported his body hanging from a wooden swing set, his feet, quote, several inches off the ground, unquote. But the state medical examiner who reached the initial conclusion based on information from local police and a local medical examiner never saw photos of the swing set and thus could not determine if it was possible for Lacy to hang himself on it. There was no swings and nothing at the site on which the 5'9" Lacy could have stood. Moreover, The noose did not appear long enough for him to tie it to the swing set's climbing platform and still loop it around his head, she added. And the noose itself consisted of a black belt not consistent with one worn by Lacy, and was tied with a blue canvas belt reported to be consistent with a belt worn by a resident of the trailer park. And apparently this trailer park was all white people and a pretty racist. Like, this is a place where there's a lot of racial tension, according to reports. That's not in the article. That's just from me. Photos also showed that Lacy had been wearing a pair of size 10.5 shoes, although the previous night he had been wearing a pair of missing gray size 12s, and they're gone. His shoes are gone. They were missing. The shoes he had on are gone. He's wearing new shoes, different belt, the swing set issue. I don't understand it. This right here, like even the basic details, I cannot understand how you get to self-harm or suicide. Hold on one second, you guys. Okay. I got all congested from getting teary-eyed. Does that make any sense? No. Red flag, absolutely, James. Big ass, like neat, like brightest red you ever fucking seen. Okay? The Reverend William Barber, president of the state chapter of the NAACP, released a statement that welcomed the FBI's review, calling it a great step forward towards justice. Okay. So let's look at my old TikTok. I'm just going to say it is embarrassing. Then we're going to come back to Trey at the university, the new article. And apparently there was also a documentary that came out. I didn't even know this about Lennon's case. I found this article today. 2 years ago, a young African-American male was found hanging from a swing set in Bladenboro. So PBS, along with Independent Lens and UNC TV, came together to take a closer look at the unanswered questions surrounding his death in a series called The Hanging. I'm going to find this and watch it. Oh, well, here it's linked. Here, let me link this article. Maybe it's still up. I don't know. I haven't checked. And you guys could watch it too. Right, Andy. If anybody thinks racism doesn't exist, they're wrong. Now, maybe it doesn't in your mind, which is good, or your world, which is great, but it does in other places, And like I said, I'm not saying that we all have pretty good opportunities these days, but some of this hatred is deep. It goes deep. This is generational hate. This is teaching, kids raised to hate just because of someone's skin color. I even from the time I was young enough to even realize what race was, that never would be right for me. I don't get it. I just don't. I don't care if you're yellow, purple, pink, blue, green, white. For me, what matters is how you treat people, who you are on the inside. And like I said, ever since being a kid, there's no way I couldn't have been one of those kids where you kind of, like I said, generationally taught that. Even growing up in where I did, like, I don't know. I'd said this before. I grew up arguing with everybody around me about politics and race and standing up for people like that, that were different. Because we're still people. I don't know. Just never could have been me. But I don't know how I don't know how an intelligent human can just hate someone because of their skin color, right? Because that number one, you don't choose who you are or what you look like, okay? You don't choose where you're born and who you're born to. I don't know. I just think that it's either you're so small-minded or you have such a low IQ. I can't understand how you can be like that. I just don't. But Claudia, Lennon's mom, is convinced her son was lynched. Lynchings of blacks in the United States were commonplace, especially in the southern U.S., once slavery ended and through the 1960s. Officials have not released copies of the police report. The medical examiner was not allowed to take pictures, and Claudia says she still has not been able to get her son's belongings from police. Ain't that something? There's also another documentary called Always in Season, where they talk about the history of lynching and the examination. Let's just click a link. We're not going to watch it. I'm curious if it will work. No, look at this. Not to be dramatic, but this page doesn't exist. That sucks. It really sucks. Let's try this Always in Season. Nope. I'll still try to find it, and if I do, I'll let you know. Now, the FBI has ruled that this was a suicide. We can get into this later because I want to get to my video and this other case. I'm going to link this video. They talk about him having a history or having some depression going on and stuff. All kids have like big feelings. You know what I mean? You're going through a lot. You have hormones and all kids have big feelings. Now, this is what his loved one posted on my thing. And I do remember something about a girlfriend, but it's been so long. I don't want to tell you wrong. So he shared this picture and he said, this is on my video. And if you see on the picture, there's an angel. It says found hanging from a swing set and covered in fire ants. This teen's death is being investigated. White girlfriend. I need to find this interview. She's 31, of Lynch 17-year-old Lennon Lacy, says she believes their relationship led to his murder and reveals she was warned not to date a black man in Crackertown. I remember some of the story with the girlfriend, but not clearly, so we won't get into that today. But again, this is going to be a series. We're going to talk about all the cases we can find like this. We're going to have the tough discussions. And yeah, so please feel free to send me anything, and I'm going to keep digging. So he said, Lennon did not kill himself. This was August 29th, less than a month ago. He commented on my video, which is weird. I'd forgotten about it, and here we are, but everything happens for a reason. But he said, Lennon did not kill himself. He was lynched by some racist-ass, pussy-ass motherfuckers. His girlfriend had a warning and all. And y'all MFs got the nerve to say suicide? Fuck out of here. I miss my brother. Broken heart. 11 years, and it doesn't get easier. Dude, maybe I should ask him if he wants to do if he wants to talk about it. And yes, and I remember this I remember when I made the TikTok, like something about the girlfriend, but like I said, not clearly, and I don't want to give misinformation, but yes. And then Smashing the Patriarchy, thank you for being here. If it is suicide, I don't blame the family for not being able to accept it. I don't think I could. Yeah. I mean, but if it was, what would explain? I can't get on board with it. And we'll look at the FBI's findings and their explanation, but how do you explain him wearing a pair of shoes that were 2 sizes too small and his regular shoes that he loved and had on when he left are gone? How do you explain that? How do you explain the belt didn't belong to him? How do you explain any of that? I can't accept that it was self-harm. Sorry, I gotta get us plugged in because I didn't know how long we would be on, so I do have my charging stuff out here, but I wasn't hooked up to it. Okay, so let's get to this video so you can see my old baby butt on TikTok like 4 or 5 years ago.
On August 29th of 2014, 17-year-old Lennon Lacy was found hanging from a swing set in Bladenboro, North Carolina.
Oh, yeah, my headphones. Well, no, I should still hear it. Can y'all hear that, you guys? I don't necessarily need to. Sometimes you just know. You know that person that well. You just know the way it was done, the place. You know when something is not right. Okay, good. Then it's fine. I'll just play it. I don't know why I can't hear it, but remember my headphones died as the freaking intro was on, so. Raymer says Mississippi is an awful state with DNA testing done on the belt and shoes. I do not recall that, but we will go back through the findings, so I'll be freshened up on it. But let me play this for you guys.
On August 29th of 2014,
I'm gonna mute.
17-year-old Lennon Lacy was found hanging from a swing set in Bladenboro, North Carolina. State and local investigators have ruled it a suicide, but his family disagrees, and so does the North Carolina NAACP. Lennon was very good at football and had his first game of the season the night that this all happened. He had actually already laid out all of his clothes and equipment. He had just gotten a brand new pair of Jordans, and they were nowhere to be found, but he was found wearing some random white sneakers that no one had ever seen before. The trailer park where this happened was like 99% white. And this is disgusting, but almost immediately after he was buried, his grave was desecrated. I haven't had a chance to watch it, but PBS did a documentary on it.
Okay, so that was the swing set in the video, and God, it's just cringy to see, but also I wanted to play it because of the pictures in it and some of the information, like the grave being desecrated almost right after he was buried. I know, Andy, I forgot about that myself. Raymer, that is what we're here to talk about, and we're about to circle back to it. So this is something in this series we're going to dig to the bottom of. I'm going to watch the documentary. We will go through this article on our next one, maybe. I don't know. Let's just take it. So the FBI file was recently released to the local news. I bet you we could get it. It was heavily redacted, but there were several new pieces of information. They said that he had been angry, withdrawn, more quiet than usual, wanting to remain in his room, not thinking people liked him. His girlfriend had recently broken up with him when he was 16. Here we go. He had begun dating Michelle Brimhall, a 31-year-old white woman, twice his age, who'd recently moved into his housing development. Though his parents disapproved, the two were in a sexual relationship, and Lacy told friends he had strong feelings for her. She had, if I'm not mistaken, she had another man. He got jealous when she'd give other people attention. Maybe we'll get the report. But here they talk about the shoes, and they said they showed pictures to his friends, and some had indicated they thought they had seen him wearing that pair of shoes before, but it didn't fit. That doesn't make any sense to me. Like, that's what I'm saying. It's hard because, like with Kendrick, I don't want to be a person who's not trusting what we're told from the FBI or from police, but it just doesn't make sense to me. Maybe it was. Maybe they can't. I don't understand, again, with the Trey, with the case that just happened in Mississippi, what actually brought us here and has inspired this entire series. Why would he go to the middle of his college campus to take his own life? And trigger warning, and I don't want to be like insensitive or inappropriate, but a young black man is going to choose the method to hang himself in a tree in the middle of his campus? What? And then they talk about they try to do a reenactment to prove that he could hang himself from that specific swing set. He had ligature marks, superficial wounds from ant bites. Red ants had covered him. After he was on the ground for some time while authorities examined the crime scene, and during that time, red ants got on him. Why would you? I don't understand how you would even let that happen, but whatever. The ME said ants were still on him when he arrived for the autopsy. He passed away from asphyxia due to hanging. And yeah, that's it. Oh, wait, is this the reports? It's not. It might be some of it, but it's not all of it because it's only 22 pages. We'll take a look at this and we'll keep talking about it. I think it's important, and it's a big part of this for me personally because it's part of my journey covering cases, and it just means a lot to me, this specific one. And also, Kendrick's case, and it reminds me of that one because of the FBI involvement and stuff, and then being like, no, there's nothing to see here. Everything's fine. It's like, really? Because with Kendrick's case, that doesn't make sense either. And also, there was a lot of rumors of girls and a white man being very jealous that his girl was interested in Kendrick, like with Lennon, I guess, and that's kind of similar rumors. I'll never believe that this young man reached down in this mat to get a shoe and fell and got stuck, and his shoes were up at his knees like that. I'll never believe that. I'll never believe that this young man whose shoulders were 19 inches wide fit in a hole that was 15 inches wide. I'll never believe that. And especially fit to the point where he could fall down in it and get stuck. No. I'm sorry. I'll never believe that the missing camera footage right at the time that you need to have the camera footage was just nothing to see. I'll never believe the narrative. I'm tainted and I'm biased now at this point for these kind of cases, and I feel like if there's something to cover up, it might be covered up. I don't know. Coffee and skeletons, hell no. I'll never believe it either. No BS. That case is, again, very close to my heart, and we'll probably talk about it along the way with this. It's not the same, but any opportunity like Kendrick's case means, I don't know, I just wish that there would be justice. I don't think there ever will be. His mom's on TikTok. You guys should go check her out. She's constantly talking about Kendrick still and fighting for justice for her son. It's very sad. Hey, Roxanne. Sarah, what was that about? I got confused. It said, to answer your question, that was a statement or something. Psychology speaking, and Tess has her master's in psychology. If it were a suicide, the location is incredibly odd to understand. Yeah. I wonder if the other man she was dating is responsible for this out of jealousy. It really does make you wonder. I know, Nicole. I'm sorry to show it, but also I think it's so important. And it's like when you see it like that, not to mention there was another pair of shoes, another shoe down in the mat. There was blood smeared all over the wall that was never tested. There was rumors, and there was people that came forward that said that the people were very suspicious of being involved, that one of them told him that they did it. There's so much to that. It's just, I'll never believe the narrative. Hey, Jennifer M., you're not biased. Your eyes are wide open. blood under the shoe. I still can't get over your picture, Andy. Every time I look at it, I love it. The little alien peace sign, though. The joint with the pre-roll or cone or whatever. Okay, so now that we've gone through all of that, we're going to come back to this new article I found right before I was going to go live. And I have not read this at all. Delta State acknowledges video in investigation. Civil rights lawyer Ben Crump, again, demands access. So Ben Crump has spent his career fighting for people's civil rights. You know what? The civil rights thing and some of the stuff that Charlie Kirk had said, there was like, you know, in an effort to find the full context of some of those things, there was a conversation that was being had about how, you know, people use civil rights nowadays for everything. Like it was meant to be one thing and now it's used for everything. And that just made me think, just like a quick side note here, of Letitia and her stupid ass lawsuit and her civil rights being violated. Like, no, bitch, you murdered a child and you still have the ability to live every day. Hell, the jail is paying for you to get fucking dentures. Like, your rights should be violated. You shouldn't have rights. But anyway, not important. While there wasn't much light shed on the details of the investigation into the death of Demartravion Trey Reed, I hope I'm saying his name right, Demartravion Trey Reed at Delta State University, the president led an emotionally charged discussion at a press conference yesterday in Cleveland. I haven't seen that. So Reed was found hanging from a tree on campus on Monday. He was from Grenada, and the coroner ruled it to be a suicide. It was one of the two hangings on September 15th. Ennis was asked about accusations by some family members that they have not been contacted by the university in regard to details about Reed's death and the investigation into it. I'm going to pause here just to say, if you get on social media to research this, be cautious. Probably can't believe too much of, he said, she said, really with any case, but I think it's specifically pretty bad right now with this one. So the chief of police gave an update into the investigation, revealing the crime lab was working on an autopsy on Wednesday, so today, and they expect that to be completed in the next 24 to 48 hours. Any other questions were met with, the investigation is ongoing. Peeler acknowledged there are videos associated with the investigation as well. That video was later demanded to be released by the family legal counsel. So is that surveillance from the college? They talk about the strained history of race relations in Mississippi. While the preliminary report of the coroner's office indicates no evidence of foul play, we recognize this is not just about facts. It's about emotions and feelings. The way this loss was discovered affects people's lives, said Ennis. I recognize that I am not adequate to speak to the imagery that this scene raises. I acknowledge my weakness there, and they note that he is a white man, so maybe that's what he means by that. However, he defended the way the university has handled it, the way they have communicated with Reed's next of kin. He says, the university and I have been in regular and frequent contact with the next of kin. The student chooses who they want as their personal contact. From the moment we discovered this university has been in regular and frequent contact with the next of kin. This choice was made by the student, and the choice of the student has to be respected, even when the student is no longer with us. I recognize there are family not being contacted that are not the names that Trey gave us. I am so sorry for that. That is so interesting. Because even if he lists like, sister or cousin is next of kin, sometimes kids are like, even I was like kind of nervous of who I was going to put in that spot, right? Because if something happened, that's who would be called. Like, I don't know. Wouldn't you still call his mama or whatever? Maybe not. If there is surveillance, it should be able to prove one way or another. Yep. Oh, Jennifer, I'm glad that you're home too. It's possible, Coffee. It looks like there's something. Hey, jewelry nurse. Letitia, once a fool, always a fool. Isn't it crazy how if this live was about Letitia, there might be 300, 400, 500 people in here? But if it's about something like this, which I understand there's a lot of shit going on right now and people are very, interested in the Charlie Kirk assassination and there's a lot of drama and stuff. I'm going to do whatever I can to get the fuck away from I'm wondering, is being in the Chroma chats like messing with my algorithm or something? Because a lot of people that used to just watch true crime are now, all they do is watch about what's going on with Brittany J all day, every day, from daylight, from morning until night. And I don't want to be anywhere near that. I just want to rebuild. Like, I truly feel like, I don't know. I'm at a different point with my channel, and not my channel has always been away from drama. Like every time that I'll comment on it, people won't know what I'm talking about, but it's just upsetting that something like this people aren't interested in knowing about. But if we were talking about Brittany or Letitia or anything else, there'd be so many people and just so emotional and invested and worked up and oh my God, never met this person, but or with Letitia, I'm very interested in that too. So I can't say too much there, but now we're talking about a series of young men who are found hanging and we're going to keep talking about it, like I said, no matter what, even if nobody listens. And people don't give a fuck. They just don't. Pretty messed up. Now, neat, that may be true as well. I'm actually thinking about starting a channel and covering cases with paranormal aspects. I found one from West Virginia where it said the ghost of the victim solved the case. Dude, that would be awesome. Do it. I would love that. I'll help you any way I can. A lot of people I hadn't seen in forever, I've heard are over in the Chroma sectors, and I've been legit concerned about them. No thanks. Me too, Natasha. But you know what? I'm also kind of like, well, I guess if that's what whatever. But I do think the obsession with Brittany, especially with people that have never fucking met her, is a little bit weird. And I do think that topics like this are just so much more important. And all I know is I'm going to focus on this stuff. And yeah, can't imagine spending all day, every day in my life fucking hating on somebody I've never met from chat to chat to chat to chat. And that's all the fuck I care about. Cannot imagine, can't relate, could never be me. And I mean never. Even if they personally did do something to me, I still would not spend my life like that. That's just facts, but. Oh, Roxanne, that's okay. Hey, Nanya. To each their own. Yeah, what can you do? It is, though, upsetting that, again, Letitia, tons of people give a fuck about her stupid calls or whatever. Brittany, everybody's so invested in that. But a lot of times the case is like, yeah, I don't know. It's another creator smashing the patriarchy. It's not even really important. It's just the point is that, right now there's a lot of drama surrounding that person. And it's kind of taken over the little sector that used to talk about like the drama surrounding true crime. So, yeah, it's weird AF. See, Sarah, and that's funny because when I do comments on stuff, like I said, a lot of people from my channel don't know, but some do. But anyways, my point is, let's keep going. My whole point was just that, if it was Letitia, Brittany, whatever, people would care, but I don't care. The fact that you guys care means so much to me, and I'm going to keep talking about it. And I'm going to talk about every young black man that was found hanging that's been ruled as suicide. That doesn't sound right. And yeah, so that's that. Yeah, it is, Kimberly. It's cray cray. It really is. I know there are a ton of channels out there. The Paranormal Files is an interesting one. My friend Tess actually mods for one. Tess, will you put it in here? Which one? And then we'll keep looking at this. So I would think they would contact Trey's mom, but here's some photos from the press conference. Let's look at this. So he was found hanging from this tree. See? Who in the hell? It just makes no sense. How do you decide I'm going to take my own life? Maybe I'm wrong. Like I did have a very close friend of mine that I hadn't been as close with recently take his own life last year. And I know every case is different. Every person's different. Maybe it is a thing. Like the public part of this is just throwing me off, like in the middle of campus. Then again, like the tree, and it's a young black man. I don't know. I got to know what you guys think about that, especially after seeing this. Look, is that a dorm or some classrooms? Like, really? Coffee, yes. I mean, I watch it too. Not like that. I watch all kinds of different stuff, and I do have an interest in what's going on, like especially with my friends and the people around me. I'm glad that you're there. I just know, like, I'm talking about not even where I've seen you. It's a whole nother world out there. There just seems obsessive. That's all. Well, thank you, Smashing the Patriarchy. Well, I'm glad that you're here. 41 months, Punksy. Thank you. Oh, I appreciate you. I've been listening from the bushes until I got an attitude adjustment. Definitely more to the story. Yeah, that just don't seem right. I don't know. Again, check my ass if I'm wrong. Be like, no, bitch, you don't know what you're talking about. It happens a lot or whatever. That's fine. I want you guys to do that. But it don't seem right to me. That tree is it's very sad to look at. Hey, Midnight Lace. Aw, Tess, that would be awesome of you. Okay. Just wanted to see if you guys had any comments about the tree. Let me keep going. This is his family gathering in a circle to pray. Here's at the press conference. We have the university president here. It doesn't list the names of the other individuals. Here's his aunt, Trey's aunt, Portia Lewis, 35, who's hugging his sister, Taylor, who's only 21. My God. Look at that, man. I really wanted to see the tree. Felt weird about asking to see it. So what do you think after you see it, though? Like, it's even more weird. Oh, James, I know. You're right. Hey. I think it's weird that tree is just so out in the open like that. How did no one witness it? Is that a dorm right there? I'm going to have to, like, pull up a map and look at the pickleball courts and what's right there on Google Maps or something. Maybe he left something behind for his mama or family we don't know about, but doesn't sound like it. I don't know. Let's go. We'll go back to it. Let's see the last picture here. Oh, well, there's the tree again, and it's more clear. It's a small tree. Like the branches, I mean. I gotta smoke a cigarette. It's so visible. It doesn't make sense how no one saw anything. It doesn't make sense. That tree makes me think even more so. It's odd. Tess, same. It doesn't look like a strong one. And yeah, something is very wrong here. It just don't feel right. Right by this court out in the open. I just don't. Neat. Actually cannot answer that. Nunya, to be fair, at nighttime that space is probably pretty dark. He was found at 7:30 in the morning, so that's a good point. Now, I don't know about lights though, but Nunya, do you think, like, could you, to me, hate that girl, to me, it just, doesn't that not seem odd to you? Like, if you're going to do something like this, to do it this way out in the middle of your college campus where everybody's going to see you that morning? That girl, thank you for the super sticker. Thank you, and good to see you. I'm happy you came by again after last night's live. Whew. Some of these topics are tough to talk about. This one, I don't feel it's tough. Like Charlie's was hard to find the words. This one, I have so many fucking words. It's hard to keep them in. Some of them. We should try to Google Earth it. We will. We're going to come back for a part 2, so I'll get that together, because last time I pulled up Google Earth on a live, it showed where I was at. So I'll just wait, get it together, and on the next live, we'll look at it. I'd be curious if there were lights in that area. I know, me too, and walkways. We're going to find it. I mean, if I could... I don't know. Let me just see. Let me pull it up in another window real fast. And then switch over once I get it on there, maybe. Hold on. Yeah. It literally opened up right to my house. Which I always say I live on this certain body of water, but it's very big and across many counties. It's not specific like this. Delta State University. Delete. I have to delete a couple places that are showing up, and then I'll switch over to it. Okay. It was showing like my recent maps. All right. So let's go over here. Whoa. Hold on. Oh my gosh. Okay. It had my old address. I didn't realize it. See, this is why I didn't want to pull up Google Maps, because you will dox yourself. But thankfully, this little address here is my old address in West Virginia. All right. And the other one is not in near me. Okay. Layers. We're going to have to look at it here. It would be like this, right? Yeah. There's my lighter. I need a damn cigarette. I've been like nicking for one so bad while we're talking about this. Okay. Here. trying to look for the pickleball courts. Here's the art center, development center. Here's a dorm, Ewing Hall. Do you guys see them? I mean, maybe it hasn't been updated, though, I guess is possible. That's a possibility, but because, like, kind of looks like maybe it could belong, like, somewhere like that. Let me keep looking, though. Just for a moment. Office of Admissions here. Okay. Oh, my God. Sorry. Oh, wait. Not it, is it? That's some kind of court. Okay, hold on. Back to this one. Where's that? That is the court, isn't it? 1, 2. Not. Yeah, I think this might be a project we're just going to have to do. Find it and then come back. Aren't those the pickleball courts right there? But there's no building like right beside it. No big building that we see. Hold up. Here's a football field, baseball field, university field, soccer field. Dude, when I was in college, though, I went to a couple different schools. First, I went to Salem International University for a year. Then I got pregnant, and then I went to Glenville State College and then to a community college. But even back then, years and years ago, like 10 years ago, there were cameras everywhere. Let's see. Look at the lights. Test. Okay. Okay. Tess just sent me a couple pictures. Hold on. I'm going to send those over. But let me go back to court. Yeah, there's no lights there. I guess this could be an old one. Where's the date? Usually it'll say it like, I don't see it anywhere. Could it have been here and it's just developed more now? I don't know, but it's nice to see the university on a map like this. I'm terrible with maps, you guys, like really, really bad. Even where I live, I've lived here for a couple years, I still use Google Maps like everywhere I go. I have to, or I just won't find it. Okay, so this is where it's marked. Let me just, I would think it'd be over here near the other field, but I'm gonna switch back to this for a moment and put pickleball courts at the university. Delta University basketball pickleball. Look, hold on. Okay, this is Delta Pickleball Inc. Is this it? And it's just underdeveloped. Remember when I said it looked like it could be like in a field like this? Because this is a dorm. I don't know. We're just going to have to come back to it. But let me show you what Tess sent, because it's another really interesting look at the area, like getting to see it like this. Andy, thank you for joining. You don't have to do that. Thank you. It looks like the dorms are behind the courts. That's what I'm thinking, too. Hey, Hoodie and a Crowbar. If this happened last November, they would have checked the cameras by now, right? Well, this happened Monday. He was found. There are cameras on those pickleball courts, liability. Yeah, the colleges have had cameras for a long time. Maybe not as good of footage, but still. I wonder if that tree is symbolic. Is there a possible history of other hangings? Well, you guys had came in late, but, I was talking. It usually does, Andy, but I couldn't see it on that one. I was talking at the beginning, about the history of these kind of things. And we talked about Emmett Till. We talked about, I definitely would rewind if this is something you're interested in or want to follow along with this series, because we also talked about a case that I had covered out of North Carolina. Young man was hung, had his shoes were missing. He was wearing different shoes, 2 sizes too small. He was hung with a belt that he did not own. There was different things that were just big red flags, and it was ruled a suicide too. I don't know. Oh, will you send it to me on Discord and I'll look? Oh, okay, that's peculiar in my opinion. If they did, they've already said that, but they have said that they're doing a more thorough investigation. That's just like preliminary findings. I could pull up the website, but Tess also sent something like that. Oh, I think it's the same app. Oh my God, I'm sorry, y'all. I'm dropping my phone. I'm about to wrap it up because we're going to come back and keep digging into this. I'm going to talk about every single case I can find like this. So if you find one, send it to me. Like, I'm on a mission now, and this, yeah, it's, thank you, Andy. Let me double check and see if these are the same. They might be, but just in case. Come on, Discord, load. Oh, this was the other young man I talked about with the shoes being Lennon Lacy is his name. And we're going to keep digging into that in this series too. But this was a comment his brother left on one of my videos recently. But that was a case I covered when I started because I was asked to. A family member, I believe it was cousin. Come on, man. Yes, it is the same map. Okay, so let's see. I have to resend it to myself. Here it is. Okay. Let's see. Bailey Hall. Basketball Annex. Soccer field, softball field, Statesman Park, Athletic Building, Performance Center. Tennis courts is number 11. So would that be a tennis court? Like, they called it pickleball, but I guess it's the same, no? And then also 52. So there's 2. 11 and 52. All right. So we have 11 here. And that was the ones that we saw next to the round building, remember? And then 52 over here. Okay. I am the worst with maps, like I said. I don't even know. I guess here? Wait, there's that round road. And this circular building. Is it this here? Foundation Hall. Tennis courts. Boom. Found them. Let's do the walk around mode. Yep. That's it, isn't it? Let's see. Yes. Here we are. This is where it happened. And I believe, wouldn't it be with that tree? Is it this one here? Wow, you guys. So here's the look at it from here. Now let's go back and get another look at it. Right up against the fence, and then it's straight behind. So geez, what have I done here? I'm guessing one of these two. It's hard to. It's right up against the fence, you know. Oh, I didn't put y'all back on the map. There's that one. It's one of these three trees, I believe, but it's real hard to tell because, see, there's the building behind it, and it's a dorm. That is a dorm, right? E.E. Noel Hall? Maybe not. Maybe it's classrooms. Maybe I shouldn't say that. This was taken September of 2024. Wait a minute. I'm wrong. It's on the other side because you see it in the background. Well, let me go to it. Let's go down this street and walk around. Yep, this side. It's one of these two. It is. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4. This one, right? So here's this tree. It's like kind of in the middle, and it's got these 4, and the one that goes over to the right, and then back to here. this one. So this is the area. You have that dorm, but it's not as close as what I thought. I was looking on the other side of the court. It's actually kind of far. The lights, though, would they be on? I doubt it if that is a dorm, because, you know, they wouldn't keep the lights on all night. Also looks like a good area where there wouldn't be anybody around if a crime was to take place. Because look, there's nothing behind here. Golly, it's just... Whew, okay, sorry, I've not been in the comments. Wow. So right between a sports court and a parking lot, there is absolutely cameras. In my opinion, there's a seismic rush to rule cause of death and close these cases. Look, I have been so like into this. I've got a lit cigarette in my left hand and an unlit cigarette in my right hand because I went to light one and forgot I already got one and got another one. Lord, the left one. Yeah, I agree. They wouldn't do it out in public like this unless they're specifically trying to punish somebody. Definitely the left. If that's 51 on campus maps, it's dorms. All right, so let's go back here. These are the courts. Here at 52. 51, what was the name of it again? Lancet Residence Hall. What's the name of 53? Court of Governor Hall. And the name on it was... Oh gosh, it wasn't even here. It was on one of the other freaking pictures. I can't remember, but it wasn't either one of those two. These... All right, let's go look. Let me see if I can just walk over to them. No name on that building. E.F. Noel Hall. I don't know. I think we're going to wrap it up here for tonight. We're going to keep looking at it. We're going to have, like I said, I know that Nicole B is going to come on and we're going to have a discussion about some of these, about these two cases specifically and all of them. And if anybody else wants to join the discussion, you guys let me know. And I'm going to keep looking at it. It's something I'm very interested in kind of getting to the bottom of, if you ever could, or if we can, but hold on. We can research. Yes, I definitely want to. I'm down. And thank you for your help. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Tess, too. September is Suicide Awareness Month, and thank you for sharing that. The picture was taken in 2024. Double dragging the Marlboros. If that's a dorm parking lot, though, I would think they would keep the lights on for safety. It's possible. Those are light poles. I think the lights probably do stay on. There were a lot of them. So, what's behind you on the map? Just a parking lot? Yeah, nothing. Just like trees and woods. We'll go back one last time just to... So, here's that building you see in the background, right? It is... We walked down this way and went around to the other side of the court. And it is this tree here on the left. Oh, wow, you can see the name on that building right there. E.F. Noel Hall. Hold on. Delta State University. I'm just going to look that up real fast. E. F. Noel Hall. Let's see what it is. So, I guess it's student housing. It served as a dining hall, later cafeteria. Wait. F. Noel. But that's not it. That's HL. There needs to be some more looking in. We're going to keep digging, but yeah, thank you guys for joining me. Thank you for going through this with me. It means a lot to me. It always means a lot to me when you guys come here to listen to me or hang out, or if you even give a shit what I have to say about anything, but especially when it's something like this, you know. So thank you for being here. And yeah, I hope you guys have a good night. I'm interested in learning more about this. Oh, thank you, Nanya. I'm glad that you're here. 2,700 people on campus, Hoodie and a Crowbar. I do remember that. Yeah, 2,500. Yeah, I'm not saying I believe he took his own life, but if he did, it seems like he was trying to make a statement. It's just sad that it went under the radar so much because of the other news. But, you know, I just can't, it just doesn't feel right. And yeah, it just made me think, like, I want to bring awareness to it, and I want to talk about all the other cases like this that have happened that have been said to be suicide. Like I said, Lennon Lacy in Bladenboro, North Carolina, you know, 17 years old, has his stuff laid out for his football game, and is dating this older woman, white woman, in a very racist area, right, where there's a lot of tension. And he's found hanging from a swing set with somebody else's shoes on. His shoes are gone. Somebody else's belt, another rope belt that looked like somebody that lived in that trailer park, but they ruled it a suicide. I just can't make sense of it. And that, I think it, you know, I want to repeat it over and over and over again so people know. But anyway, thank you, Hoodie and a Crowbar. I'm glad that you're here. Thank you, all you guys, for being here. I will see you tomorrow. We're going to keep talking about it. We'll do the panel. Like I said, if you know of a case like this that is in your area or not, or whatever, please send it to me. I want to know. I want to put them all together. I have a little list going right now. And yeah. And yeah, anyways, thank you guys for being here. Sorry for the heavy topic, but it is important to talk about. I appreciate it. And I'm just going to end it, because if not, again, I'll continue to go on and on. That's just what I do. I could say goodbye for a long time. Yeah, why did he have on a size 10 when he is a 12? Oh, thank you, Hoodie and a Crowbar. All right. Bye, guys. Have a good night.